How's it going, everyone? The Salamander Man here, and this is going to be a second video in the series that I'm doing where I document my adventures. Your local parks and state parks offer so much to see in terms of wildlife and even plant life. There's a lot to do and see out here, so I'm hoping in doing this I can provide a better appreciation for some of these animals that are out here, especially ones that are often overlooked and not understood by a lot of people. So with that said, we're going to dig into the video now, and on today's list is the ever so common two-line salamander. And this salamander is a lungless salamander that lives a semi-aquatic lifestyle. So we're going to go ahead and look for this really awesome salamander, and I'm going to give you guys a really nice close-up look at its larval life stage and the adult as well. The two-line salamander is a lungless salamander, meaning that it breathes through its skin. And due to how sensitive their skin has to be kept moist. So, this salamander actually goes through a complex lifestyle. It starts off as an egg, hatches as aquatic larva, and then eventually morphs into a semi-aquatic adult. And this is the habitat where we will find this beautiful salamander. So, how do we do this? It's fairly simple. It's going to take a little bit of effort, but this salamander is actually quite easy to find as they live in streams, springs, bogs, and all you have to do is just look around under debris such as logs or branches and some flat rocks, and you have a pretty good chance of finding one. So let's get started. So we will start looking right here where the water has pooled, so that way we have much clearer vision in this fast-moving stream. And what we are going to be looking for is a small, slender, dark-colored aquatic larva with external feathery gills. And so what we can do in order to look for it, it's not too hard, there's not much effort here. However, the dark coloration of this larva does tend to help it blend in with the sediment at the bottom of the stream. So what we can do is just look very carefully, and also we can flip over some small rocks that they may be hiding under. Just remember, if you are going to look for a salamander like this, just flip over the rocks very gently so that way you disturb as little as possible. So like I said, it doesn't take too much effort to find the salamander, given that they're actually pretty abundant where these populations live. So I've actually already seen a few little aquatic larvae wandering the stream bed, and so at this point we're going to take a nice close-up look at the underwater world of the two-line salamander larva. So we just got to see a few of the larval two-line salamanders, and we saw a few fish that were lurking around as well, and there were some crayfish that I couldn't get on video, but it just goes to show you the type of environment that these salamanders live in and what they're suited for. And you can see that dark coloration that they have really helps them blend in with all that sediment and dirt at the bottom of the stream bed. And I did manage to get on video one of these two-line salamanders that were actually closer to morphing. You could kind of see that it had a different coloration compared to some of the other ones that were on video. It had a sort of yellowish golden bronze color to it. So that's actually the typical coloration of an adult two-line salamander. And this salamander, once it morphs, it will lose its gills and live still a more semi-aquatic lifestyle. And we're going to be able to find this adult hiding under debris right near the stream. So let's see what we can find. All right, so I flipped over a rock and there were actually 3 two-line salamanders that just scurried away. But we've got this one here, and I'm going to give you guys a really good look at this one here. And I'm going to tell you a little more about the salamander. Okay, so you guys just got a pretty good look at the adult two-line salamander as well. Now, again, these salamanders, once they get older, they start developing this really nice yellow goldish coloration, and the salamander gets its name from these 2 black lines that go down the length of their body. And these salamanders, again, live a semi-aquatic lifestyle, hiding under the fallen debris or rocks right around the stream bed. And the female will actually lay her eggs underneath a rock, and of course, the eggs will hatch into aquatic larvae. And sexually active males will develop what is called a mental gland underneath the chin, and they will develop premaxillary teeth to sort of cut the female's skin very lightly and then rub pheromones with the mental gland during courtship. So my search for the two-line salamander had me stray just a little bit towards another part of the stream, and I stumbled upon a really interesting frog called the pickerel frog. So let me give you guys a close-up of this animal, because this frog is also a really beautiful looking frog. This frog is actually still quite young. It has a long way to go. They can get up to almost 5 inches, especially the female being a lot bigger than the male. Now this frog is actually quite unique because for a North American frog, it actually contains toxins. You can actually see behind or underneath the hind legs, there's some yellow coloration which serves as a warning to predators that it is toxic and dangerous, so predators should keep away. Now, the toxins can be quite distasteful or perhaps even fatal to some predators, especially other amphibians. So before I end the video, I want to give you guys another look at something that just caught my attention, something that I really was just not expecting at all. I was aware that this salamander was populated here, but in my experience, they are just very, very difficult to find, very secretive, and they're not rare, but because they hide and they just lead a very secretive lifestyle, for me personally, it's been very difficult to find this salamander, and what I am talking about is a northern red salamander. So by this shot here, you guys probably can't see it, but let me zoom in real quick. You see any sort of weird coloration standing out? Sort of grayish? No? let me give you guys a better look. And here we are. This right here is a beautiful larval northern red salamander, which is also a lungless salamander. And they get very big, much, much larger than any redback or two-line salamander. And you can't really make out what coloration it would get when it gets older. However, when they do get bigger, it's unmistakable. A vibrant, beautiful red coloration, speckled with black spots all over. And this northern red salamander can probably get up to about 6, maybe 6.5 inches. And they can tend to be territorial from time to time, especially the female who is guarding her eggs that she's just laid under a rock. Now, of course, these eggs will hatch into aquatic larvae, where eventually as they grow, they will start to get in that nice red coloration and then eventually lose their gills as they morph into a semi-aquatic adult. So at this point, I'll give you guys a cleaner look at this really stunning salamander as well. Alright, so I'm going to end the video here, and we just got to see some really amazing salamanders. The two-line salamander, which is a really common salamander to find in a pretty good portion of the country, but they're often overlooked and unfortunately also caught to make a profit. And it's pretty unfortunate because they're also quite easy to breed as well. And getting their setup correct isn't really all that difficult. So that aside, we also got to see a northern red salamander, which again, I was not expecting to find such a really amazing salamander like that. In my experience, they're just very, very secretive and not the most common find in my experience. So it was a real treat to see one of those. And we got to see a pickerel frog, which was also really, really cool. Very common, but always wonderful to see some amazing animals like that. So, at this point, I'm gonna end the video here, and I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Please like, share, subscribe, comment down below, and until next time, guys, I am the Salamander Man.